Hello friends, and welcome back to the AI Highs channel. Last time we touched upon the most terrifying and mysterious creatures known to humanity. But those were just glimpses. Today we're going to open the doors of myth and reality even wider. We're going on a deep dive, peeling back the layers of history, science, and folklore to truly understand these elusive beasts. This is a journey into the heart of the unknown, where our greatest fears and most profound curiosity meet. Prepare yourself, because we're about to explore the terrifying truths behind the legends. Deep in the mist-shrouded peaks of the Himalayas, where ancient wisdom mingles with eternal snow, there lives a legend that refuses to die. The story of the Yeti. But this isn't just another campfire tale. It's a mystery that has captivated both locals and explorers for centuries. Imagine, if you will, walking through the silent, snow-covered valleys of Tibet. The air is thin, and your breath forms clouds in the frigid mountain air. This is where the Sherpa and Tibetan people have long spoken of the Meito Kangmi, or man-bear, a powerful spirit that guards these sacred peaks like an ancient sentinel. You know, it's funny how legends can get lost in translation. The term abominable snowman that we all know, it's actually a journalist's mistake from the 1920s. They mistranslated the Tibetan word meto, meaning man-bear, as filthy, and just like that, a sensational new name was born. Talk about a game of telephone gone wrong. But here's where our story takes a fascinating turn. In 1951, something happened that would make even the most hardened skeptics pause. British mountaineer Eric Shipton was exploring the Menlung Glacier when he stumbled upon something extraordinary, a footprint that defied explanation. This wasn't your typical animal track or a smudge in the snow. No, this was a perfectly formed human-like impression, measuring a whopping 12 inches long and 8 inches wide at the toes. Picture finding that while you're up there in the wilderness, a massive footprint clear as day in the pristine snow. Too big to be human, too well-defined to be a mistake. Shipton photographed it, and that image became one of the most compelling pieces of evidence in the Yeti saga. Of course, science has had its say. Modern researchers have launched countless expeditions collecting everything from hair to scat. In 2017, geneticist Brian Sykes conducted a groundbreaking study testing numerous alleged Yeti samples from monasteries and private collections. His findings? Most samples came from known animals, yet the mystery persists. Because up there in those towering peaks, where the air grows thin and the wind whispers ancient secrets, the legend of the Yeti continues to roam. Whether it's a myth, a misidentified animal, or something more mysterious, the Phantom of the Himalayas remains one of our world's most enduring enigmas, reminding us that perhaps not all mysteries are meant to be solved. A terrifying incident. The Sherpa Story. In the early 1960s, a Sherpa named Tenzing Norgay, who was not the famous Everest climber but a well-known local guide, told a chilling story. He was leading a small trekking group when a sudden whiteout blizzard struck. The group took refuge in a high-altitude cave. As the storm raged, a low growl echoed from deeper within the cavern. Tenzing, holding a torch, peered into the darkness and saw two brilliant red eyes staring back at him. He described the creature as immense, with long, matted fur and a face that was both ape-like and eerily intelligent. The creature moved with a silent grace, standing on two legs, and emerged from the shadows. Tenzing recalled the distinct, nauseating odor it carried. He grabbed his group and fled back into the blizzard, choosing the brutal cold over the unknown terror in the cave. To this day, he claims he was stalked by the creature for over a mile before it gave up the pursuit. He never returned to that region of the mountain again. Megalodon, the unseen king of the abyss. Megalodon wasn't just a shark, it was an apex predator of a scale we can barely comprehend. Its jaws were large enough to crush a small car, and its bite force was estimated to be over 40,000 pounds per square inch, enough to pulverize a whale's skull with ease. The first evidence of its existence came not from a living animal, but from fossilized teeth, some as large as a human hand. Early scientists, unaware of what they were, mistakenly called them tongue stones, believing they were the petrified tongues of dragons. The theory of the megalodon's survival, while dismissed by most scientists, is rooted in the vast, unexplored depths of our oceans. The sheer scale of the unknown is staggering. We have mapped the surface of Mars in more detail than we have our own ocean floor. Could a creature as massive as the megalodon survive in the twilight zones of the deep? It's believed that megalodons preferred warm, shallow waters, but the deep sea is a perfect, isolated habitat for a relict species to adapt and survive, feeding on whales that still journey through the deep. A chilling modern encounter, the Submersible Incident. In 2018, a deep-sea research submersible named the Challenger was exploring a previously unmapped trench off the coast of Australia. The crew was studying a unique ecosystem around a hydrothermal vent when their sonar picked up a massive moving object. It was unlike any whale or known sea creature. Its shape was elongated, with a distinct series of jagged spines. The captain described it as being over 70 feet in length. Suddenly, all communication with the surface was lost. An emergency beacon was activated, and the Challenger was eventually recovered, but the crew inside were traumatized. The submersible's reinforced hull bore a series of impossibly large scrape marks and what appeared to be bite marks, each an estimated 3 to 4 feet wide. The onboard cameras were mysteriously offline during the incident, but one surviving corrupted file showed a brief, terrifying glimpse of a massive, dark shape with a gaping maw. The official report cited a technical malfunction and structural fatigue, but the crew knows what they saw, a predator from an age-long past, living in the darkness below. Chupacabra, the vampire of the Americas. The myth of the Chupacabra is a modern one, born from a period of fear and confusion. It began in 1995 in Puerto Rico, not as a single incident, but as a wave of horror. Hundreds of livestock, primarily goats, were found dead with their bodies completely drained of blood. The signature mark was always the same, 2 or 3 puncture wounds on the neck. The first description of the creature came from a woman named Madeline Tolentino, who claimed to have seen it in her yard. She described a bipedal reptilian creature with large black eyes and spines running down its back. The Chupacabra has since been sighted across the Americas, and the descriptions have changed over time. The original reptilian alien has morphed into a hairless, dog-like creature with long fangs and a hunched back. This shift has given rise to the 2 most popular theories. The first, and most widely accepted by scientists, is that the Chupacabra is a mangy coyote. Sarcoptic mange, a parasitic disease, causes animals to lose their fur, develop thick, scaly skin, and become weak and emaciated. Their desperate need for sustenance would drive them to attack livestock, and the puncture wounds could be from their fangs. The bloodless aspect of the victims is a common symptom of shock, where a heart attack can stop the blood from flowing after an attack. The second theory, popular among believers, is that the Chupacabra is either an escaped genetic experiment or an alien entity. The sheer number of sightings and the lack of a perfect scientific explanation keep the mystery alive. A terrifying incident, the Texas rancher's hunt. In the early 2000s, a rancher in Texas, losing cattle to a series of gruesome attacks, decided to take matters into his own hands. He installed a series of motion-activated night vision cameras around his property. For weeks, the cameras only captured coyotes and raccoons. Then one night, the cameras near his cattle pen were triggered. The footage was blurry and grainy, but it showed a hunched-over quadrupedal creature with no hair and a series of strange ridges on its back. It moved with a disturbing, jolting motion, not like a coyote. In one frame, it lifted its head, and the camera's IR light caught a pair of enormous, unsettlingly black eyes. The creature didn't look like an animal. It looked like a caricature of one, a horrifyingly twisted mockery of a wild dog. When the rancher showed the footage to local authorities, they dismissed it as a sick coyote. But the rancher, and a few others in the area, knew better. The attack suddenly stopped, but the memory of that creature, and the fear it instilled, never left the community. Mokulem Bembe. The Congo's last dinosaur. Deep in the heart of the Congo River Basin lies a primordial world of dense jungle and winding rivers. Here, the local people have passed down tales of the Mokulem Bembe, a creature whose name means one who stops the flow of rivers. It is described as a large, herbivorous creature with a long neck, a small head, and a body like that of a rhinoceros. The descriptions are remarkably consistent, and they all point to one thing: a sauropod dinosaur, a brontosaurus-like creature that somehow survived extinction. The belief in the Mokulem Bembe is so strong that multiple expeditions have been launched to find it. In the 1980s, American biologist Roy McCall led a team into the Likuala swamp region. He spoke with locals who had seen the creature, and some even claimed to have killed one. During his expedition, McCall and his team discovered massive, 3-toed footprints that couldn't be identified. In one instance, the team heard a loud, booming roar from a nearby river, a sound that was unlike any known animal in the region. A terrifying incident, the hunter's tale. In the late 1970s, a pygmy hunter named Lokoko was part of a group hunting deep in the Congo. They were in a part of the jungle so remote that no outsider had ever been there. While fishing from his small canoe, Lococo heard a snapping sound. He looked up and saw a tree being pushed aside. From the dense foliage emerged a massive gray creature with a long, elegant neck. Its head was small, and it had a single horn on its snout. The creature was eating the leaves from the highest branches. Lococo, frozen in his canoe, could only stare in a mixture of awe and terror. The creature, sensing him, turned its head. Its eyes, Lococo said, were calm and placid, like those of an elephant. After a moment, it dipped its head back down to eat, ignoring him completely. Lococo raced back to his camp, his heart pounding. The experience was a stark reminder of the ancient and untouched world that still exists, hidden from the eyes of civilization. The Kraken, the shadow of the deep. The legend of the Kraken is as old as seafaring itself, a monster that haunted the dreams of Norwegian sailors. In the Norse sagas, the Kraken was not just a squid, but a creature of such immense size that it could be mistaken for an entire island. It was said to have immense tentacles, each capable of pulling a ship into the abyssal depths. Bishop Pontoppidan of Norway, in the 18th century, wrote in detail about the Kraken, describing its size and its feeding habits. He claimed that when it rose from the depths, it created a massive whirlpool that could suck ships under. The myth found its basis in reality with the discovery of the giant squid, Architeuthis dux, and the colossal squid, Mesonychoteuthis hamiltoni. These creatures, with eyes the size of dinner plates and bodies as long as a bus, confirmed that sea monsters were not just a myth. However, the Kraken legend describes something even larger. What if these giant squid are just the juveniles of a truly colossal species that lives in the deepest parts of the ocean? A terrifying incident. The oil rig disaster. In 2014, an unmanned deep-sea drilling platform in the Gulf of Mexico experienced a series of bizarre and catastrophic failures. The platform's automated systems reported a sudden, massive impact on its central support column. Sonar images showed a large, rapidly moving object with no clear shape. When a remotely operated submersible was sent down to inspect the damage, the footage was chilling. The thick steel support beams were covered in a series of circular depressions, each one over 4 feet in diameter. The markings were too perfectly round to be natural and too big to be from any known giant squid. As the submersible approached, the camera briefly captured a quick, massive shadow moving away from the platform, revealing a set of glowing, bioluminescent eyes the size of car headlights. The damage was so severe that the platform had to be shut down. The official report blamed a structural failure, but the lead engineer, haunted by the submersible footage, knows that something far more ancient and far more powerful than any storm caused the destruction. The Thunderbird, the Lord of the Sky. The legend of the Thunderbird is a deep-rooted and spiritual one among many Native American tribes. It is a symbol of power, a benevolent force of nature whose immense wings create thunder and whose eyes flash with lightning. The Thunderbird is not just a monster but a powerful guardian, a supernatural being that brings rain and protects humanity. However, modern sightings have painted a different picture, that of a physical creature. In 1977, the incident in Lawndale, Illinois remains a classic of cryptozoology. A 10-year-old boy named Marlon Lowe was playing in his yard when 2 massive birds descended from the sky. They were described as having wingspans of over 10 feet. One of the birds reportedly grabbed the boy, lifting him several feet off the ground before dropping him. The boy was unharmed, but the incident caused a media frenzy. The scientific community points to misidentification. A condor or even a bald eagle seen from a distance could be mistaken for a larger bird. Yet, the sheer scale of the descriptions and the consistent accounts from different people in different places keep the Thunderbird myth alive. Some believe the Thunderbird could be a surviving population of an ancient bird of prey, a giant teratorn like Argentavis magnificens, a bird with an estimated 23-foot wingspan that once soared over the Americas. A terrifying incident, the backcountry hiker's video. In 2021, a wilderness hiker in the remote mountains of the Pacific Northwest recorded a video that would go viral. He was filming a flock of migrating geese when the camera panned up to the sky. A massive dark shape so large it briefly blotted out the sun was flying in the distance. The sound it made was not the screech of a raptor, but a low rhythmic booming, like a drum in the distance. The hiker, terrified, zoomed in. The footage was grainy, but the massive wingspan, the hook-like beak, and the powerful, effortless flight of the creature were clear. As it passed over a mountain ridge, it dwarfed the peaks below. A chilling reminder that there are still creatures in our world that are larger, more powerful, and more mysterious than we could ever imagine. The video was quickly taken down by the user, but not before it sparked a heated debate online about whether the Thunderbird had finally been caught on camera. These are not just stories. They are windows into the vast, undiscovered parts of our world. They are a testament to our enduring fascination with the unknown. Whether born of folklore, fear, or a genuine encounter with a relic species, these creatures remind us that the world is still full of mysteries. What secrets do you think are still out there waiting to be found? Let us know in the comments below. And don't forget to like this video and subscribe to the AI Host channel for more profound explorations. Until next time, stay curious.